Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Wednesday, November 29th, 2023. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, through the Ministry of Tourism, will in the next few weeks launch a new e-marriage licensing system locally and globally. This is according to Minister of Tourism Carlos James, who was speaking at the annual Tourism Stakeholders Awards ceremony last Saturday at the Lakeview Hotel on the amendments made to the Marriage Act, which he said will allow visitors to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and persons living in the Grenadines to have their marriage application processed within 24 hours. Minister James said this will significantly improve the appeal of the destination SVG as an ideal location for destination weddings and honeymoons.
2 days ago in the Parliament, we further amended the Marriage Act, where we removed this period in which it required you had to have 1 day physically on island before you can apply for the marriage license. What we have now done is eliminate that. And what that means is that someone in Texas, in California, in New York, in London, in Taipei, in Paris, they can sit comfortably in their homes or in a taxi or on the plane coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And they can simply go log on to an e-licensing system where they can essentially facilitate the lodging of the application for marriages. So now an application for marriages can take place remotely through an e-licensing system, and we're going to officially launch that. It's ready, the system is actually ready, and we will make an official launching of that sometime in the next coming weeks. Global launch, we do a soft launch in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and also a global launch to facilitate the number of persons who are interested in having this e-licensing application system for marriages go live so that they can facilitate the bookings to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is a billion-dollar industry which we have been starved off from for too long, and I know the stakeholders are quite happy that we're going to launch this very soon.
The tourism minister further added that his ministry is also trying to digitize more aspects of SVG's tourism industry, noting that there is a discovery app SVG in the making.
And all of these things are taking place since my introduction as Minister of Tourism. And I think that we also need to commend the staff in the Ministry of Tourism, the Tourism Authority, the Information Technology Services Division of the government, and the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, because they are also working on an app, a Discover SVG app. This app is going to allow persons who come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You're wondering, where do I get a taxi? Where do I get a hotel? Where's the best restaurant to go to? What sites can I visit? You download this app, you go into the system, the numbers are going to be there, the information for all of the hotels, the taxi operators, the sites are going to be there, and you can make your bookings right there on the app. These are innovative things that should have happened 5 years ago, and we're now getting them done. But I'm happy that we were able to facilitate that transition and transformation of our tourism sector.
The importance of customer experience and customer service in the tourism industry were highlighted during a lecture hosted on Tuesday afternoon under the theme Service Excellence, Enhancing the Customer Service Experience. The lecture was delivered by Dr. Leslie Ann Jordan Miller, a senior lecturer in hospitality and tourism management at the UWI St. Augustine campus in Trinidad, who has over 20 years' experience in teaching at the institution. Dr. Jordan Miller noted that customer service is a business strategy, in that in the same way that you will put together a financial plan, a PR or HR plan, you do likewise for customer service. She encouraged persons at the destination, community and company level to look at customer service as a business strategy.
And you see I put my $sign there. And what tends to happen, whether it be at a destination level or company level, we go after the variables at the end of the equation. How many people want more money? Don't be shy. Christmas around the corner, right? bills to pay, gifts to buy. So we want the increased revenue, whether it be from the cruise ships, whether it be from your weddings and your honeymoons, niche market. Am I allowed to say salary increase? Yes, right? So we want the increased revenue, whether we're talking private sector or public sector, right? We are going after lifetime customers. We want loyal customers. And we also want brand reputation. Now, I heard you boast there that Vinci Mass is the best. As a Trini, I'm not too sure if I should tackle that, right? Right? But I will allow you to boast. My third Vincentian would support that statement. Yes, so you want the brand reputation, you want to be known as the best in the Caribbean, the best at what you offer in terms of your product and your services. And many times we focus on the marketing campaign, which is great. We have tourism product development officers. I met them today, and I'm sure that they're hardworking and they're doing a great job. That is great, right? We may focus on the budget and the finance. All those things are important, but we also need to focus on customer satisfaction, visitor satisfaction, visitor loyalty. How many repeat visitors do you have? Are your visitors saying, you know, I came here 2 years ago, or this is my 10th year coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, right? You want to have that loyalty, as we say, because that brings the repeat business. They come and they stay longer and they spend more as they experience what you have to offer.
The UWI Senior Hospitality and Tourism Management lecturer said with a lot of challenges taking place in the service industry, it is important to take into consideration that customers have many choices available to them and what is being offered has to be appealing.
You know, years ago, we would in the Caribbean say, well, you're competing against Barbados and you're competing against Jamaica. We are now competing against Fiji, against the Maldives, against Seychelles, because they are also warm weather destinations. And our customers, the same visitors that we are going after, they have that choice as well. So what will make them want to visit St. Vincent and the Grenadines, right? Their expectations are higher. And later on in the presentation, we'll talk about what are some of those expectations and how you can work to meet and even exceed those expectations. And then on the other side of the globe, you will see things that are happening in the general environment, digital transformation. So do you know, as soon as they come off the cruise ship and they snap that picture, where could that picture be placed? Online one time. Sometimes they go live, they're on Facebook, Instagram, and it's just, they might have just had a 2-minute experience of the destination, and they are already sharing the story, sharing probably how they were treated, how they feel, what they are seeing, what they are hearing, and so on about the destination. So it's real-time feedback. And also customer service in and of itself is very dynamic, and it's very challenging. Why? Because you're dealing with human beings. Human beings, right? Because it's people serving people. Even though we're talking artificial intelligence and, you know, sometimes you see the case studies overseas and you see the robots serving room service or flipping the burgers, we're still very much a people-intensive industry. And you know when you're dealing with people how things could be, right?
Noting the changes over the past 5 years in terms of how business is done, propelled by the COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Jordan Miller said it is important to get everyone to understand that tourism is their business, and as service professionals, they also have to be brand ambassadors for the destination.
The person who is selling on the side of the road, the taxi driver, the tour operator, the police officers, the security guard, the salesperson in the mall. We are all involved in the tourism industry. We are all service professionals. And in truth and in fact, we are the service. So when you greet the visitor or the guest and you smile and you say, you know, how are you doing? Welcome to the island. What are you looking for? That's the service that you are offering to the person that you're interacting with. So therefore, you are brand SVG, right? So that you are really supporting the marketing that is being done whether by the Tourism Authority or the Ministry of Tourism. When the visitor interacts with you, they are interacting with the brand. Yes? And therefore, I think you have a heavy responsibility to be an ambassador to represent what your tourism authority would have already said about you.
The lecture forms part of activities for Tourism Month 2023. In other news, though banana has been referred to as in its heyday as the green gold, Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Saab said in his view it has been the single most environmentally degrading cash crop, legal or illegal, that has ever been produced. Prime Minister Gonsalves was at the time delivering a lecture hosted by the Institute of the Government and Politics of Latin America and the Caribbean at the Methodist Church Hall on Monday evening on the topic Transforming Lives, Navigating Challenges, Shaping the Future, a story of transformation, of transformative chance in the face of challenges in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The extent of the subsidies in the early, in the heyday of bananas, propelled farmers to cut down trees above the 1,000-foot contours to grow bananas, causing a lot of landslides and all the rest of it, denuding of the land of trees. Then, of course, the matter of the use of the plastic, which is not biodegradable, to sleeve the banana, because the British housewife didn't want to see any little pin spot on the banana, even though you and I know that the pin spot banana was the sweeter of the bananas. Some would say the sweetest of the bananas. But they were rejected. And then, of course, something which it hasn't been investigated, but from anecdotal evidence, a lot of people who are suffering from lung problems today and who are dying in St. Vincent and the Grenadines from lung problems is not because of smoking, some of them from smoking, but because of the use of pesticide and weedicide in a manner which was not safe. I have a family member who has a lung problem, and he went overseas and the examination, and they said, had you been using pesticide and weedicide? He said, yeah, I used to spray bananas, bareback, barefoot. They picked it up in the analysis. So even though it's green gold, it also has other sides. I'm not making any adverse comment about people who profited from bananas and the like. No, I'm just speaking towards the issues at hand as we are seeking to address the problems as they arise, the challenges as they arise in aid of our transformation, our development.
Noting that when the Unity Labour Party came to office in 2001, they said they want to make a break with a colonial or amended colonial type economy. Prime Minister Gonsalves said in part they had no choice.
Because sugar had gone, arrowroot was just in the northeast of the country. Bananas, the preferential arrangements were declining rapidly, so something had to be done. Unfortunately, under the ancien regime, that is to say the regime before our time, no serious consideration was given for what is fundamental in any post-colonial economic arrangements. That is to say, education, science and technology. Oh, to be sure, there was a tinkering here at the margin, but there was no focused national policy to construct an education revolution to lay the basis for the transformation in the society and in the economy. That's fundamental. Remember, I told you that a defining feature of the colonial economy, or the amended colonial economy, was production at a fairly low level, with workers with a low level of skill and education and technology. But that which you are constructing, you have to make sure that you train people for the modern political apparatuses and economic apparatuses. And then, of course, you have in this process of engaging in the quest to build a post-colonial economy, you had to have it many-sided, not just one thing.
The Central Water and Sewage Authority is the beneficiary of the Ridge to Reef and Iweco projects. Speaking at the handing over ceremony on Tuesday at the Forestry Services Department compound in Camden Park, Chief Executive Officer of the CWSA, Winsbert Quo, said that between 2021 and 2023, the company received support from these projects valued at $675,000 EC dollars. On Tuesday, the CWSA, along with the Forestry Department, received several equipment and tools to be used for the projects.
When we had the volcanic eruptions, and there was some doubts about the quality of the drinking water, this is a big word now. Sometimes I think I pronounce it differently at times. I think it's the spectrophotometer. And I had to slow down when I pronouncing that. I think it's there's a device called a photospectrometer, right? That's how I get them mixed up. You know, the spectrophotometer acquired under the project, which tests the chemical parameters of water, was critical in reassuring the public that the water was safe for consumption. So because we had that equipment and there were some doubts about the water quality because of the ash, we were able to say, you know, test the water and give the public some assurance that it was safe for consumption. So in closing, the CWSA therefore wishes to express our profound thanks to all the partners, Jeff, UNDP, Iweco, our Forestry Division. We just want to thank all of you for your partnership in strengthening our water resource management capacity. Thank you.
Quo said the support the company receives through these and other projects will help to make water quality and quantity in SVG much better and build resilience against climate change.
Support received in strengthening our capacity to monitor and measure water quality and quantity parameters will greatly assist us as a company and as a country in implementing timely measures to build sufficient resilience to climate change, thus ensuring that we continue to provide the vital resource of water in sufficient quantity and at a high quality to our people. So this is important to us, that we're able to measure these parameters. We have to stay ahead of the game. We can't allow our resources to run away from us and not know how to respond to the changes in the climate. So we are happy that we're able to get this support.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in its capacity as pro tempore president of the Community of Latin America and the Caribbean States, CELAC, will host a 45th meeting of the National Corporations of CELAC on November 30th at the University of the West Indies Global Campus, Kingston, starting at 9 a.m. Some 26 delegates drawn from the 33 CELAC member countries will gather at tomorrow's meeting to be chaired by Dr. Douglas Slater, National Coordinator of the CELAC Secretariat. Dr. Douglas Slater told the Agency for Public Information, the API, that the meeting seeks to advance the process of formulating a CELAC Kingston Declaration, or the 8th Summit, for the 8th Summit of Heads of State and Government of CELAC in 2024. The declaration document will be refined over the coming weeks and submitted to the Ministries of Foreign Affairs of CELAC prior to the summit for their review and approval before submitting to the heads at the 2024 summit. The declaration document is expected to include decisions or proposals aimed at further strengthening the unity and socioeconomic development among CELAC member countries. Males across St. Vincent and the Grenadines are being urged to report incidents of domestic abuse, thereby avoiding suffering in silence. The appeal comes from teacher and assistant with the National Adolescent Group, Marlon Young, who was on NBC Radio's Talkie Talk program on Tuesday discussing gender-based violence.
You report it, so we can say that men are being abused. And due to that, we actually find that because more men are stepping up now, we're moving away from the whole idea of women and girls, and we're now looking at the whole idea of gender or just domestic abuse in that sense, where because we're seeing a lot of men have been stepping forward, even here in St. Vincent, and we very, very, very much appreciate that, and we commend you for stepping forward and saying that we too suffer. Because pull it back, when we talk about violence, we're not just only talking about physical violence. So we have to talk about emotional abuse, sexual abuse. We have to talk about the financial abuse. We're talking about intellectual abuse. We're talking about psychological. And when it comes to psychological, sexual abuse, men do go through a lot of that. Women are very manipulative. Just put it there, and they know how to manipulate men, and so
you have to be careful with those statements.
no, but it's a fact. It's a fact that we're not, because we're discussing domestic violence in that sense, and we talk about harassment. We know a lot of men harass ladies, but there are some ladies who harass men. So when we talk about violence, we're not just talking about physical violence. I just want to put that out there. There are a range of different violence that, of course, so when we talk about men reporting violence, it doesn't have to be where your woman physically manhandles you, and I use that word specifically, manhandle.
Carefully.
But it could be where you are in a relationship and it's an emotional burden. Men don't speak about these things because of our broke code in society. But stress is another area that we see. And how do you deal with stress? And all of that is when we talk about reporting the violence.
Young said gender-based violence is not new in the Vincentian society, and in his view, it can be stopped by treating one another with dignity and respect.
Reporting is important, and that is the only how we can actually understand what the problem is and find means of solving the problem. Don't be ashamed, because everybody experiences some form of domestic violence, so don't think it's you alone. A lot of people are quiet, but we have to break the silence and help us break the silence by speaking up. As we said, there are many avenues in which you can use to break this silence. And finally, if you know of somebody that is going through domestic violence, yes, you can encourage them to seek help. But if you're really not a professional, we urge you not to really intervene, because sometimes that creates more problems. For example, I know girlfriends like to say to the other girlfriend, "Girl, leave the man," whatever, in that sense. And I know we have not gone through this cycle of violence, and that is the reason why we're saying ask them to seek professional help, because it's very dangerous, depending on what stage of the cycle they are, to ask them to leave the relationship.
Coordinator of the National Family Planning Unit, Arletha Douglas, said gender-based violence can affect everyone, and persons should not hesitate from reporting these incidents to the authorities.
If you are experiencing any form of gender-based violence, as Marlon would have mentioned them before, please do not hesitate to report. Please report. And for the health system, we have all the clinics where we have trained nurses, and you can report to any one of the trained nurses. If you go to a clinic and you're not comfortable in a clinic, you can go to the other one. We have so many clinics in St. Vincent, so don't say, "I am not going to Kingston because of this nurse." Go to Camden Park. So it's a routine rate. So wherever you are, all our clinics are less than half an hour away from you. So you can report it. And as Marlon said, you don't have to go to the police. Use up the nurses, report it, because the nurses have a responsibility to take it further than they.
SVG is joining the global community in observing 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which commenced on November 25th and ends on December 10th, 2023, under the theme, Invest to Prevent Violence Against All. In other news, 6 primary schools will be competing in the annual KCCU Primary Schools Mastermind Quiz tomorrow, Thursday, November 30th, at the Kingston Methodist Church Hall. The participating schools are the Fairhall Government School, Oya Government School, Newgrounds Primary School, South Rivers Methodist School, Beckway Seventh-day Adventist Primary, Spring Village Methodist School. A news release from the KCCU said the Mastermind Quiz promises to be an intellectually stimulating and entertaining event, showcasing the bright minds and talents of the young students from these schools. The competition begins at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. The 2023 National Lotteries Authority Christmas 9 Mornings Festival will be officially launched on Sunday, December 3rd, 2023 at Heritage Square in Kingston, beginning at 6 p.m. under the theme, Our Christmas, Our Vibes. A news release from the National 9 Mornings Committee says the activities, which mark the start of the 2023 celebration in SVG that usually captures the masses, will feature the return of the street parade, where persons will engage in candlelight cultural street procession through the streets of Kingston, commencing at Heritage Square at 6 p.m. The parade will be accompanied by the police band, dance groups, community groups, drumming groups, and drummers from community groups. Upon returning to Heritage Square, there will be a short opening ceremony, which would include the blessing of the festival from Pastor Randy Poacher and worship from the Exalt Him Worship Ministries. The Epic Sound Steel Orchestra is expected to provide steel band music and a special mini presentation by the SVG Police Band. The launch will hear Christmas greetings from the chairman of the National 9 Mornings Committee, with corporate sponsors, the National Lotteries Authority and VILNEC representatives delivering remarks. Minister of Culture Carlos James will then declare the festival open with the turning on of the lights at the square. The National 9 Mornings Committee is encouraging members of the public to participate in the launch and upcoming activities of this unique Vincentian tradition of the National 9 Mornings Festival. Meanwhile, the Christmas caroling contest is slated for Saturday, December 16th at the Botanical Gardens, dubbed Spirits Lifted. Juanita Phillips of the Department of Culture said the Christmas caroling contest promises to enchant and resonate the true essence of Christmas. Felix, who was speaking at the 9 Nights of Lights at the Botanical Gardens media launch on Monday, said that participating choirs in the Christmas caroling competition are diligently practicing, harmonizing, and fine-tuning their voices in order to uplift spirits and spread Christmas cheer through the expressive form of music.
It promises to be a showcase of talent, of dedication, and the delight of coming together in unity, and mostly laughter and entertainment. And even with it being a competition, we are hoping that the shared experience, the joy, the memories created together will forever lift the spirits throughout the season and cause you to look forward to an even bigger and brighter caroling contest in 2024. Your presence and support would mean the world to us. So mark your calendars for Saturday, December 16th at 6 p.m. and come to lose yourself in some good singing. Bring your friends, your family, your neighbors, and let's create an atmosphere of love, joy, and unity. Some attributes that I believe that we have lost over the years.
General Secretary of the Yellow Pan Movement, Leslie Ann Millington, said the organization is once again excited to collaborate with the 9 Nights Committee to bring patrons another thrilling night of Christmas on steel at the Botanical Gardens.
This has been an exceptional year for steel pan in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the Yellow Pan Movement couldn't be more excited and find something more fitting than to celebrate with the 9 Nights Committee with good vibes, with Christmas on steel, surrounded by captivating and beautiful lights. The price is $15 at the door, and the kids are $5. We have 7 of our top performing bands to be, they're already getting ready to get their repertoire in place, so they
Deputy Chairman of the National Nine Mornings Committee, Lennox Bowman, expressed his satisfaction with the accomplishments made by the committee in its 9 years of operation. Bowman used the opportunity to speak about his new Christmas song, 9 Nights, and its accomplishing music video, which he said is part of the efforts to document the history and culture of 9 Nights for future generations to come.
I believe that this project is, if not the flagship project, one of the flagship projects of the Botanical Gardens, and something that is an enduring legacy. And that answers why this year we tried to get a video put together very, very nicely by my very good friend and the producer of the song, the musical producer of the song, Kamal Archibald. It is because we feel that we need to document our history, and what is happening now is history that hopefully we'll be able to tell our children and grandchildren about. You know, you come up here on a night and that pan night is just, Leslie, it's just amazing. But not only the pan night, all the nights now are becoming very. So those were the things that went into it. We have done, as the Bowmans, a lot of signature pieces where we look at major events. This one is a major event for us, and I'm very pleased and very happy to be part of the history and the evolution of the 9 Nights Festival.